Hello, once again, everybody. It's your boy, Mr. David, and tonight I'm doing a little stand up comedy. And it's been a good hot minute since I've done one. So, I hope you guys enjoy this. Now, I just want to start off by talking about 2020. Man, this year was honestly the roughest. Seriously, it's like we somehow went from a nice smooth path to a bumpy road. And that's literally what 2020 was, a bumpy road. Very bumpy. More bumps than what you see in California from a bird's eye view. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to the dozens of hills we have here. Seriously, have you seen California? Hills everywhere. Everywhere you look. It's almost like God wanted to take a bat and do target practice with California. You ever watch a cartoon and you see someone get hit on the head multiple times and they have all those bumps on their head? That's literally what the surface of California looks like. The bumps of a cartoon character. But anyway, back to 2020. 2020, honestly, in my opinion, is like the Darth Vader of every other year. Like, seriously. It's the kind of year that even the name itself is like a curse word. You can't even say 2020 without someone cringing in the background. The only way this year would be a complete disaster is if a UFO was to show up the next day. One UFO. Next thing you know, we get to live the real life version of Independence Day. Only thing is, we haven't made it that far into the future to have spaceship type fighters. And you know what? Speaking of the future, I just want to point out the fact that when the movie Back to the Future came out, they literally predicted that by 2015 we would have hover cars and hoverboards. Well, sorry to say, but it's 2020 and our hoverboards have wheels. That ain't no hoverboard. They call it a hoverboard, but it's a lie. It has wheels. It's like a little Segway, but without the little stick in the middle. And honestly, I don't see myself ever riding one of those because I'm always scared that I'm going to fall. Okay. You guys remember the rib stick? The rib stick was like a two-wheeled skateboard. Back when I was a teenager, one of my friends had one of those. I tried it and failed. I didn't fall. I failed. Because apparently there's a trick to it. You gotta like move one foot this way, move one foot the other way. You gotta try to swerve to get it moving. Be like, I can't do this. Nah, I stuck with a good old regular skateboard as a teenager. Skateboards were fun. Now, rib stick? No. I'm sorry, but no. I can't do it with a rib stick. I don't know how my friend does it. Okay, it's a balancing act. And I'm not always that good with balancing. Heck, if you were to give me a unicycle, watch me fall flat on my face. Honestly, skateboards can be just as challenging. When I was at the skate park as a teenager, I was terrified going down the ramps. Honestly, I looked at it, I ran away. Thought it was going to follow me. I remember the first time I went down the ramp, I fell right on my butt and watched my skateboard go flying without me. I've heard of ghost riding the whip, but ghost riding the skateboard? That thing went far without me. I'm just sitting there on my butt, crying, thinking, where did I go wrong? Yeah, skateboards are tricky. I remember one time I did like a 360 on my skateboard. Like I jumped up, made the board do a complete 360. And when I landed, I celebrated. Like, yeah, look at me. I'm looking good. Then I fall on my arm. Good thing I'm a young man, cause falling on your arm, you're gonna lose an arm. I got up, dusted myself off, and walked away with all my bones intact. Cause I'm thick. If it's one trick that I never got to master as a skateboarder, it's doing an ollie. If you guys don't know what an ollie is, it's kind of like a jump with a skateboard. That one trick where you slide your leg up and you make the board leave the ground for only a second, like you're jumping with it. So I've seen skateboarders do it all the time just to get over objects and things like that. And honestly, I never got around to doing that. I never perfected that skill. I practiced, never got it. Because almost every time I do it, the skateboard wants to leave me. It's like, oh, heck no, we ain't doing that. Nope. Skateboard wants to leave me every time I try the trick. And if I'm not careful, I'm going to get hit in the balls by the tail of the board. I kid you not. You got to be careful with skateboards. Because if you're not careful, you're going to end up with scrambled eggs. And I'm not talking about the kind you eat. Now, one other vehicle that I would like to bring up that I got to ride as a teenager is the good old scooter. Who could forget the scooter? The funny thing about the scooter is it can be both your friend and your enemy. It can take you places, but if you're not careful, it could hurt you. You ever see people swing their scooter around and the metal frame hits them right in the ankle? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's that pain. Honestly, I've been hit in the ankle with a scooter before, and it is not a pleasant feeling. That is one of those childhood pains, next to stepping on a Lego. Oh, Legos. Fun, creative, but deadly. Who could forget the dreaded Legos? But anyway, back to the scooters. Scooters are fun until you overuse the brake. I remember I was out riding a scooter one day, and I used the back brake so many times that my back wheel went from as skinny as an athlete to as thick as a slice of cake. That back wheel was no good. It was too thick. Too thick. And not the good kind of thick, but the bad kind of thick. I had to get rid of it. Had to replace it. And that's what sucks about scooters. You use the brake too much, you end up with a thick wheel that won't move. So I had to get rid of mine. And just when you thought scooters couldn't be any more annoying, I faced that one situation where your handlebars come flying off. What the heck kind of cheap scooter was I riding? The handlebars came off. Just whoop, came right off, clean off, headless. I've heard of riding a bike with no handlebars, but how do you do a scooter? It ain't no ribstick. It ain't no skateboard either. I would love to see someone ride a scooter with no handlebars. That's how you get my respect right there. Now, my final and last vehicle that I would like to bring up that I still ride today is the bicycle. Yes, the bicycle. The cheapest way to get around town. And apparently comes in several different varieties. Now the bike, as great as it is, it requires a lot of responsibility. I learned the hard way that your bike would take more money out of your pocket than your child. Your bike is basically your child. Okay, you get it. You have fun. Next thing you know, you're out $80. If you thought having a car was expensive, imagine how much it costs to get new inner tubes, tires, brakes, and all the gadgets and things. I tell you, bikes will eat up your wallet. But hey, you gotta take care of it. Honestly, in my opinion, bikes are perfect for teaching kids responsibility for having their own vehicle. Because one day they're going to want to drive a car, and we all know cars costed an arm and a leg. A lot more expensive. Lots of responsibility. I just got rid of my old bike. I had spent probably up to $300 total taking care of that thing. It ate up more money than I do going shopping. Okay? I spend more money on that bike than I do going shopping for food. This is like the training wheels to prepare you for a wheel car. Even though a bike is different from a car, they're still both things that eat up your money. I remember for my birthday, my mom got me a used mountain bike for like $20-something from Goodwill. And the bike was great. It ran perfect. I came home, rode around, happy as can be. Next thing you know, I'm getting ready to go home, and my seat comes off. The whole seat came right off. It slid off with no effort. And as I'm holding it, shocked, surprised, like, what the heck is this nonsense? The seat itself falls apart in my hands. All the pieces, the nuts just fall in my hand. Like the bike knew what it was going into. It's like, no, I don't want you. I'm going to commit suicide. I literally watched my mountain bike commit suicide before my eyes. The seat comes off and falls apart. Be like, yeah, I don't want you. That's how you know your bike was cheap. It runs good, next thing you know, seat falls apart. And just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, I lose the front tire. Because I punctured the inner tube somehow. I ride my bike through the park. I lose the front wheel. Okay, it gets flat. Be like, so I'm sitting here like, what am I going to do? I want a bike to ride. So what do? My crazy creative side decided to take the front wheel off my sister's old BMX bike and put it on my mountain bike. Next thing you know, it looks like I'm riding a lowrider. Which was not a safe idea, honestly. Because, I mean, imagine riding a mountain bike with a BMX wheel on the front end. I know they have bikes kind of like that. But a mountain bike, no. I don't know what I was thinking. Because what if I had to stop and I go flying over the handlebars? Exactly. But that's how bad it was. You know, back then as a teenager, I was in poverty. So I couldn't really afford a brand new tire or an inner tube. So I got to be creative. I got to put a wheel on a bigger bike that doesn't belong there. So I'm just cruising through the neighborhood with a big back wheel and a small front wheel, looking ghetto as heck. Looking like looking like a lowrider. Be like, you like this bike? It's a mountain bike, hood edition. We in the hood. We in this trick. Yeah. Riding all night. Looking ghetto. I'm a ghetto boy. At least back then I was. I am so old that I remember I used to take my boombox out to the park just to listen to some rap music. Yes, I am that old. Mini Afro boombox on my shoulder. But I couldn't play it without plugging it in because I didn't have batteries. But that's for another story. Anyway, guys, this concludes my stand-up for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe for more. Hit the notification button. And I'll see you guys next time. Shalom.